Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to Inside the Lunchbox, guys. We do not have Chris today. Unfortunately, he's got a family emergency. I posted about it earlier, so everybody just be sure and send out good vibes and prayers, whatever your religionist stuff is, to him, and be thinking about him while he's going through what he's going through. He should be back by Friday, Saturday at the latest. And we've got a guest today. Levi's here as well, Leviticus Maximus. Beth. Beth Kirkpatrick, she's a chef, mom, wife, and friend of many. And I've known you for a while, and I'm going to just go ahead and let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what you've done in your career as far as culinary, and we're going to get right into the show.
Well, let's see. My name's Beth. I'm from California, at least 14th or 15th generation.
Okay.
Let's see. My parents, I started learning to cook very young.
Awesome.
I remember being 3, standing on a step stool, my mom teaching me how to scramble eggs.
Aw.
And it continued from there. And at the point where I was about 12, they were pimping me out at dinner parties for help.
What? Did you get paid for that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I got to do dishes too. Yay!
So you were the dishwasher too?
Oh, yes. Kitchen bitch and dishwasher.
That is awesome.
And at about 13, some family friends bought their Wiener Schnitzel franchise
Oh, wow.
in Southgate, California, and I went to work for them, and I've been in the field ever since. I worked on a dive boat for 3 years as the chef, a night dive master,
What?
and deckhand.
Okay, can we stop right there for a minute? What is a dive boat?
It's not what you think. It's not like a
Okay.
dive bar.
Okay, I was like, wow, how come I've never heard about this?
It's for scuba diving.
Oh, how cool.
And on the West Coast, there are a lot of them. And I worked at one in Ventura, California. And we would go out to the Channel Islands. They'd go lobster diving in the fall and the winter. And you just lived on a boat and cooked and
Wow,
did all that.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Wow.
We even went on a great white shark hunt.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, that was an
Did you
interesting
find
trip.
it?
No. So on the backside of an island out there called San Miguel, there is an elephant seal breeding ground. So the great whites
Oh,
hang out there. So the skipper of the boat, Mike, chartered the boat for the weekend, loaded 50-gallon drums of chum on the boat. We go all the way out there to the backside of San Miguel, drop anchor. Now I'm hot. I want to go swimming.
Right.
I jump off the side of the boat into the water, not knowing they're chumming on the other side.
Oh, my God.
And they see me out there, get in here. So needless to say, that was the last time I went swimming on that trip.
I guess there was no signs that said no diving or jumping in the water.
Yeah. Well, they weren't paying attention to me. They were opening up the stinky fish guts.
God. That is hilarious.
There's more than one way
That
to
is
bait
super
a
cool.
shark. I would
Yeah.
have to say. More than one way to bait a shark.
Oh, they're not coming. I'm just going to jump in and help you guys out.
Yeah. I'll start the water going for you.
Wow. How cool. I bet that was an awesome job.
It was a lot of fun. And then I married a guy in the Coast Guard, and we moved cross country to Virginia. So I started learning real Southern food in Virginia.
Nice.
Ran a restaurant, a healthier food restaurant that was connected to a gym in Virginia Beach. And we did training meals for like Sweet Pea Whitaker, the boxer, Bruce Smith of the Buffalo Bills. Off season, he would train at the gym, and I would fix his meals. And then he would come in and show me his consolation rings from when they lost the Super Bowls all those years.
Wow. I just seriously got chills. You've done some really cool stuff. That is awesome.
It's some interesting jobs.
Yeah.
And then from there, we moved back here because my ex-husband was from Houston. So we moved back here. I got a job at a new restaurant that was just opening in Humble that was going to be a Chicago-style Greek place
Okay.
because the owner was from Chicago. And so I started out as prep during the day and ended up being the exec and manager of the
Oh,
place.
wow. You went from prep to an exec.
Yeah. In a matter of a year.
Hell yeah.
Well, he had a tendency to hire drunks to be the execs, and
Yeah.
So, and then from there, I went to Chez Nu in Humboldt and was a chef de garde manger there for about 7 years. And then I worked for a friend's catering company for a couple of years. And then I got a phone call from my husband's bookkeeper about a company that was looking for a chef downtown.
Uh-huh.
And she said, "Oh, I have a friend who's not doing anything right now, who's a chef, will get me her resume." Well, resumes aren't a real thing.
Yeah.
In the chefing
Yeah,
industry.
for real.
So we phonied up a resume
Right.
and sent it in to her. And the woman called me and said, she wanted to interview me. It's okay. So she told me how to get there, and I didn't know, so I told my husband took me because he knew. And he goes, "Who are you meeting with?" And I told him her name, and he goes, "Oh, I know a woman by that name. Ask her if she has a son named Little Ricky," because he knew this family. And so we get done with the interview, I get hired. And I said, "Oh, by the way, do you have a son named Little Ricky?" And she goes, "Yeah." And she kind of looks at me. I said, "Oh, my husband's your AC man."
You got the job. You got the job right
Yeah.
now. How cool is that? What a small world.
Yeah, it really was. And so I ended up working for this privately owned energy trading company downtown Houston at the time. It's the world's largest financially trading company. And when I started, we had like 85 people. And when I retired, there were 350 people.
Woo.
And we had moved to a new facility. And I had a state-of-the-art kitchen, got a sous chef finally. So it wasn't just me cooking all that food. But it was a great program. We just put out fresh cut up fruit, and we made lunch for them every day.
Okay.
They got a full hot lunch every day, big salad bar, all of that. Yeah, it was a great job. It was a fun
In
run.
your opinion, did you work there through the COVID pandemic?
Yes, and that changed everything.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, in your opinion, do you think that changed culinary actually for the long run? I think it's still changed.
I don't know if it's still changed as much. I think they're starting to slide back into those bad habits.
Yeah.
Which, but at the time when we finally went back to work, it was like we always had to have hard-boiled eggs for everybody for breakfast and snacks and stuff. Well, we had to bag them up separately in separate Ziploc bags.
Yeah.
And it was just things like that. We, for quite a while, we had to box up meals separately and stack them so people could just grab and go because it was a buffet line. We had 2 buffet lines. And so because you didn't want people handling everything, we pre-boxed it and let them go. We went from communal salad dressing containers to individual packets.
Yeah.
And, that was a nightmare.
I think, in my opinion, since COVID, takeout has become more of a thing than it ever was before, and I think it's going to continue to stick. And it's the same with the selling of the liquor and everything, too.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever going to go away now.
No, and hopefully they'll add Sunday in.
Right. Like, why can't we drink on Sunday? Like, what's
I
up with
know. Well, like the town I left in California, Ventura, they have a downtown Main Street. And when COVID hit, because it's all restaurants and shops down there now. When COVID hit, they blocked off all of Main Street so people could put temporary patios out front. And so you could sit outside. The restaurants could keep open.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And they had the tables like 6 feet apart and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they did all of that, which is great. And they just voted, and they've made it permanent now.
Oh, wow.
And they will level the street completely. They have a farmer's market every Saturday down there.
Awesome.
Yeah, they have
That is
craft fairs. They have bands come down. It's really a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That is super cool. I love farmer markets and buying local stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The last one I went to was in Huntsville, and I met a couple that does, they grow microgreens.
Oh, cool.
And they were like so pretty and so beautiful. I got a card and handed it to my chef at the time, and he was just like, meh.
What are we
I'm
going to
like,
do with
okay.
those?
You decorate. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and move into the subject today. That was awesome. I loved hearing your story.
Oh, thanks.
And the subject today is authentic food. What makes it authentic, guys? What do you think?
Using the correct ingredients or as much as you can helps.
For the geographical location and...
Yeah. I mean, it's like you don't want to make Mexican food and use Texas chili powder in it.
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff.
What is the difference between authentic and traditional? What?
I think they're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You know, it's just what's tradition in your family.
Exactly.
May not be tradition in my family.
Yeah, it's more of like a native versus someone else, but
Yeah.
it's still, you could still do authentic, right?
Yeah.
But also, you have to think that Mexico is a large country. So what we think of as Mexican food is really just border food, right? Because
Well, no.
Texas used to be a part of Mexico.
Oh, yeah. Well, so did California.
Right.
But Mexico is like the U.S. They have states.
Right.
And each state, depending on the geography and the location, determines their cuisine.
Okay.
And so...
Because of whatever they grow in that area?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like
That
flour
makes sense.
tortillas are only in certain... Well, now they're probably everywhere. But at the beginning, they were only in certain areas because they could grow wheat.
Okay.
And the corn was easier to grow, kind of thing.
I love corn tortillas. Homemade corn tortillas are the bomb.
Oh, yeah.
I just love them fresh with a little bit of butter.
That's it.
And also, you have to realize, like, back a couple hundred years ago, they didn't have refrigerated, train cars to transport food everywhere.
Yeah.
So Hatch green chilies only come from Hatch, New Mexico. So that was a staple of New Mexican
Cuisine.
cuisine.
Yeah.
Which New Mexican cuisine is very similar to what people would think of like as Mexican cuisine. But when we think of Mexican cuisine, we're thinking of the border states, more or less. The deeper you get down into Mexico, their food drastically changes.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the exact same reasons.
Yeah. Well,
Hatch green chilies. Shout out to Chewy's. Their boom boom sauce and their little Hatch green chili fest they have every year.
oh, yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, in Central Market, the Hatch Chili Festival at Central Market.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I've
Yeah.
only known about the one at Chewy's.
Oh, no. HEB does Hatch. Central Market, well, HEB and Central Market are the same place, so.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a fancier version.
Yeah. But, no, one reason why, like, Mexico and Central and South America, they eat their meat well done is because it was from lack of refrigeration. So they had to cook it all the way through for safety reasons.
Right.
Well, that has continued
I
in
never
their
knew that.
lives. Yeah, but that's continued to where now you go out, I want my steak well done. Here, just take my shoe. Same thing.
Right, right.
You know?
We had a steak episode where we talked about that. We called it like King Tut's tomb. Sounds like that when you cut it.
Well, it's like people go, well, that's blood. No, it's not.
Yeah, it's microglobin.
Yes. Haven't you ever had a cut and had weepy stuff come out, not blood? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's
I'm glad you brought that up.
That doesn't make it any better, but that's okay.
Don't you eat yours mid-rare?
Yeah,
We've
but
had this
I'm just
discussion.
saying, like, hey, it's the microglobin weepy stuff, not blood. I
Yeah.
think that would creep people out more than just saying,
Oh.
what's a little
Yeah.
juice? What's a little red juice?
It's just, I guess, because we're in the culinary field, like, it's like when they say blood, it's just like, Jesus, like, when you butcher an animal, there's not blood left in it. Like, all that
Yeah.
drains out. Like,
Yeah.
you're not conserving some blood. Let's save some blood right here for this. Like, the
Right.
blood is drained, and you're, cutting the meat and getting rid of all kinds of other stuff. And, yeah.
You also get rid of, like, all the chitlins, the intestines, the
Oh, yeah.
testicles, all that good stuff.
And the Rocky Mountain oysters that
Yeah.
contain the sperm. And...
Those should be thrown away. Those should be thrown out.
Oh, Lord, have mercy. Nothing ever gets dropped on this podcast, I swear. It just continues and continues.
Does the microglobin come from the testicles? Or what passes through those?
Lord, have mercy. I think we're going to have to fire this IT guy. Oh, Lord. So, Beth, I'm going to ask you a question. If you wanted to go home and make a Mexican food from scratch, what would you go to, why, and what ingredients would you use?
well, currently I'm making tamales.
Ooh, yum. This is a good season for that, too. It's cool and all.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting ready to go home again for about 4 weeks.
Okay.
And so I'm going to freeze some and take them to my mom.
Oh.
So good old mom, 94, living on her own.
Oh, that
Wants
is
homemade
awesome.
tamales.
Shout out to her. What's her name?
Colleen.
Colleen. Oh, you're going to have to save this and let her listen to it. Yeah, 94. Oh, my God. I want to know your secret, Miss Colleen.
Living in Southern California.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I bet. You know, I've never been. I want to go.
Oh, you should go.
Yeah, I've never been.
Yeah. But now, right now, I'm working on tamales, but I love making enchiladas,
Okay.
tacos from scratch.
What about mole? That's like a...
I haven't dabbled in mole, but I've got a couple bananas at home. I might be able to.
Isn't that 27 ingredients that is in a mole sauce?
Yeah, but I have, I think, most of them.
Okay. That is cool.
Yeah, because I've got chocolate and sesame seeds and almonds and
Okay.
all of that. Bananas are only used sometimes.
I never knew bananas was in it.
Yeah, there are different types of mole depending on the state or the
Okay.
area of the state you're from.
So going back to your tamales that you're getting ready to make, what are your ingredients that you use for that?
Okay, so I got maseca, the corn flour.
Oh, okay, for
tamales
the
and tortillas
masa?
and stuff. Yeah, for the masa. And then I have fresh rendered lard from when I made chicharrones.
Ooh.
And then I have, I got a bunch of guajillo and ancho chilies and pasilla chilies and boiled those and made a red sauce out of them.
Oh, man.
And I cooked a pork shoulder that I boned out. And so I've mixed some of the red sauce in with that. And then I'll make a batch of masa and add some of the red sauce to it. And I
Yummy.
did the green chili. I did poblano and jalapeno with either jack cheese or pepper jack cheese the other day.
Ooh. God, that sounds so good. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I'm going to be thinking about those tamales while we eat our lasagna when we go to the VFW in a minute. Once a month, there's a guy or a restaurant that comes and cooks for us at the VFW. And today is the day, so they're holding us a plate. I think it's lasagna from Joe's. Joe's Italian.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, your tamales sound awesome. That is great. Like rendered lard from chicharrones. That is awesome. That's going to put a lot of good flavor in there. What do you normally make with your authentic tamales when you make those?
I'll do like homemade refried beans,
Okay.
some rice, maybe a little salad to add a vegetable.
Oh, yeah. Avocado.
Oh, yeah, always avocado.
That's your veggie.
Yeah.
So, pico, your tomatoes, your onion, cilantro. A little bit of lime juice.
Yeah.
And then you've got your margarita.
Margarita's a vegetable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh,
right?
yeah.
It's got lime in there.
Yeah. Well, Mexican shrimp cocktail is really good for a meal during the summer here when it's hot. Have you ever made that?
I can't have shrimp like
you can put
ceviche or anything.
You can put in crab meat,
Oh,
scallops,
okay.
whatever that are cooked.
Okay.
Yeah, you can put any of that in, but it's really easy. It's clamato juice,
Uh-huh.
Heinz ketchup, pico de gallo, lime juice, Valentina hot sauce, avocado, and your seafood.
Oh, yeah.
Just mix it out, and no salt, pepper, nothing.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I love me some salt.
Beth, would you ever try gator tacos? Have you ever tried gator tacos?
Oh, I've had gator. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
It was interesting.
Mhm.
I think it depends on who cooks it, on how
Right.
it's going to be.
Right.
We've spent a lot of time in New Orleans, so I've tried
Oh, yeah.
a lot of those
Oh, there's good
random
food out
things.
there, man.
No chichi birds, but gator.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Chichi birds.
So, would a gator taco be authentic? It's definitely not authentic Mexican, but what would that be? Would that be like New Orleans, or would that be Florida food?
It would probably be
I feel like that would be like New Orleans with a Texas fusion, with a Mexican fusion.
maybe New Orleans or Mexico, New Orleans fusion.
yeah.
Yeah, because I think there probably is I think Taco Loco there makes maybe gator tacos. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, there are some interesting places there to eat though with really random stuff.
Really?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of the name of that place I went to. Cochin, I think.
Oh, Cochin? Did you go to
Yes.
Cochin?
Oh,
Or
yes.
did you go to the butcher shop right next door to it? The casual place?
No. We went to the nicer one.
Okay.
To where we sat and we got to watch them cook and everything.
Yeah.
It was, oh my God. I had short ribs. I had some kind of amazing mac and cheese. Oh my God, it was so good.
Their mac and cheese is the only one I will eat besides my own
Yeah.
because mine tastes like that.
Really?
Yes.
What kind of cheeses do you use in yours?
I use strictly cheddar. Oh, maybe a
Really?
little parm for nuttiness.
Okay.
But it's the spices, dry mustard, cayenne, a little dry basil that you powder
Well,
up.
you have a nutty person making it, so maybe it's a little nutty because of that.
That
I'm
too.
just kidding.
That too.
I threw that out there for Lori.
But no, he's got a whole bunch of restaurants now. We've been going there since they started.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a James Beard Award winner, right?
Yeah. Don,
That was weird to
Donald
say.
and Stan, I think is his name,
Okay.
his partner. Yeah. I recommend next time you go to Saba,
Saba. Okay.
modern Israeli food.
What? Now, is this authentic?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Alon
So, like,
Shaya. Alon Shaya is the chef and owner,
Okay.
and he's from Israel.
Oh, how cool.
And Saba is grandfather in Hebrew. And the most amazing green Bloody Mary I've ever.
A green Bloody Mary. Was that made with like tomatillos?
Tomatillos, green tomatoes. They made their own base in house. It was amazing.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, well, while we're on the subject of this episode being authentic, can you tell me a little bit of what authentic Israel food is? Because I really don't know.
Let's see. Well, pita bread.
Pita bread?
Pita bread. Hummus or hummus.
Hummus? Yeah. I love hummus.
Yeah, and he does a variety of them, like braised lamb,
Okay.
chicken, stuff like that. Yeah.
Like, is it jasmine rice or is that Indian?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Maybe that's Indian.
Maybe. Basmati and jasmine are more Asian,
Okay.
or like India,
Yeah.
Pakistan, that kind. But no, his food's amazing.
Saba was the name of that place.
Yeah,
Okay.
Saba.
Saba.
Yes.
That sounds familiar.
He used to be partners with John Besh in a restaurant that was named after Alon.
Okay.
It's called Shaya.
Okay.
And that's where we first had his food. And then there was a little bit of a falling out.
Oh, no. It
So
tends to happen in the industry.
Yeah, it does.
It's
And
a lot of work and,
yeah.
yeah.
So he started his own place, Saba, and he has another one which is grandmother in Hebrew. I can't remember the name, but it's in Denver.
Okay. Wow.
And then
So
he
he's
just
doing
opened
great.
a new one in one of the big hotels in
Okay.
New Orleans.
Wow, that's awesome. I feel like there's not a lot of competition or not a lot of people cooking that kind of food.
No.
At least especially that's making it that big. Like
Yeah.
you randomly you don't often hear about it. So that's really cool. I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you guys think would be authentic for Buster?
Whatever he ran over last.
I don't know. I was thinking maybe a Chi-Chi bird soup. What do you think, Chris? Maybe yeah, Chi-Chi bird soup.
Your whistling is better than my soundboard. I have to say that right now.
We're not going to even have to put a sound in for that. I'll
Yeah.
just keep doing
Can you
it.
do chi-chi birds like you do quail?
I don't know. We were talking about sous videing Chi-Chi birds in one episode. So, I mean, I don't know.
Have you ever sous vide corn?
No.
Corn on the cob? Oh my God, it's the best thing ever.
Really?
Never gets watered down.
I know
Because
you said you sous vide your fried chicken.
Oh yes.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah, I brine
I-
it for at least 24 hours, buttermilk, hot sauce, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Put it, vacuum seal it, sous vide it to cook it. Then all you have to do is brown the crust.
Right.
You
yeah.
can't-
You
you
just
can't-
put it in the fryer real quick and you pretty much pull it out.
Yeah.
That is
So,
awesome.
to us laymen, what does sous vide mean?
Sous vide is cooking something in a vacuum sealed bag in its own juices at a very low temperature.
Steady temperature with
Yeah.
water circulation.
Yeah, and it's like it's just slowly cooking, and you're just gonna have the finest, juiciest, most perfect piece of meat when that thing comes out of there. Oh my God,
so
I've had the best pork chops.
The chicken is already fully cooked when you take it out. So all you have to do is dry it, bread it, and just fry it to brown the outside to crisp it. Because that's the hardest part about cooking fried chicken is getting the inside done before the outside is without
so where it's
burning
not-
it.
Yes.
So that eliminates that. And like a chuck roast you have to do for what, 36 hours in the
Oh,
sous
yeah.
vide? But it's like filet mignon when you're done.
I've actually never sous vide chuck roast.
I haven't either. but I have read all about it. I just don't want to sit there for that long for meals.
You pretty much just put it in there and leave it overnight, I guess, and half the day the next day.
Yeah.
Almost kind of like a 14-hour brisket or something.
Yeah, you have to watch for water evaporation in your container and stuff like that.
Right. Well, guys, we have talked about authentic Mexican food, what makes it authentic. So pretty much what is making food authentic, according to two chefs and a dictionary, is pretty much what is located in that geographical area. Why are you laughing, Levi? Levi's over here laughing at me.
I'm just like the fact that when you said two chefs and a dictionary, you slapped me on the back like I'm the dictionary. I appreciate that. Compliment taken. Compliment taken. You saw this, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Two chefs and a dictionary slapped me on the back.
Oh, man, I'm missing Chris right now, guys. But this is awesome. Man, I feel like we've got a lot of time right now. What do we want to do right now? We've talked about tamales. We've talked about beans. Like, what local ingredients would you put in your beans? I know when I cook beans, I always throw onions, cilantro, a little bit of beer.
Oh, borracho beans.
Yeah.
Well, it all
Let
depends
them
if you're
cook
making
down.
refried or if you're making a pot of beans. Are you making red beans?
Yeah.
Red beans or...
Or pintos. I'll make pintos a lot.
Well, I learned to eat pintos just like pintos and cornbread and onion when I came here.
Yeah.
And so when I moved geographic locations, like in Virginia, there were some sweet potatoes at that time that were only grown on the eastern shore of Virginia called Hayman sweet potatoes, and they were white.
Really?
Yeah, and I read an article in the paper about it, and
Were
like,
they creamy?
well, they had. I'm not a big sweet potato eater.
Okay.
I'm learning. I'm
Okay.
learning at this age. But this article in the paper, they had a recipe that was great. It was like reduced orange juice and pineapple juice, and you cooked them in that and then baked them. And so I started doing local foods there. I learned about blue crab and how to crab and
Oh, wow.
what to do with blue crab and stuff like that. So then when I moved here, it all changed again,
Uh-huh.
you know.
You're learning about Southern food.
Yeah, more southern. Yeah, collard greens, fried cabbage, that kind of stuff.
Oh, so
yeah.
good.
Oh, I know, and I've learned to love that.
Right.
Because California cuisine is totally different than here.
Is your husband from California?
No. Now, he's from
Okay.
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Yes, Arkansas. And that's a whole different country in itself, let me tell you.
Really? I've heard it's beautiful out there.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful. We have a house there.
Okay.
It's on about 8.5 acres of timberland, and
Ooh,
so
pretty.
it was his childhood home.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, so we were able to buy it 3 years ago.
Okay.
Let me tell you, that's a deal. $17,000 for 8.5 acres of timberland
God.
and a house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's been working on rehabbing it, and it's almost done.
Wow, how cool.
Yeah, so he goes up every couple months and stays for a few weeks and works on it. And he's got a
Nice.
buddy living in it, so it's okay. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. It is a beautiful state. It is.
So what's authentic there? Is this similar to Texas, like barbecue, fried chicken?
It's fried chicken, greens, that kind of stuff. But they do. It's really weird. They have a lot of all-you-can-eat seafood places. And
Really?
There's no seafood.
Are
There's
you
no
are you
ocean
around?
there.
Yeah, I was like, is there an ocean there?
I know. It's like,
Huh.
but cornbread, things like that.
Okay.
He grew up eating that kind of stuff. Always having a big garden because they didn't have any money, so his
Yeah.
mom always had a giant garden, that kind of stuff.
Hey, money or not, garden's the way to go. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
fresh. You don't have to worry about all these pesticides and
Yep.
all these artificial growth hormones and stuff.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no. So he grew up there and then got in the oil industry and started traveling the world, and
Nice.
yeah. So, and now he has an AC business here in Texas.
Awesome. Big ball of shot collar.
Yeah, the bald man.
I remember, you call him that. I see your post on Facebook too. The bald man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, we got a few more minutes. We usually have a culinary word of the day, a French culinary word. I couldn't think of one for authentic food.
Sous vide, whatever you.
Sous
Sous
vide?
vide?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've already covered sous vide.
That could be your word of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've already covered sous vide though.
Yeah.
We've covered sous vide. Our last one was Maillard.
Oh, you've already covered it in previous episodes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Our
okay.
last culinary word of the day was the Maillard reaction.
Yeah.
The chemical reaction of the browning. And
Yeah, the heat, the pan, the
yeah.
metal, the meat.
And, yeah.
What's the culinary word for being shark bait, I wonder?
Oh, for jumping into a baited water for great whites.
Dumbass.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
I have an interesting story I can tell you.
Yay.
When I was on the dive boat, the day trips, we would take out diving classes to certify them. And so we pull up into this harbor area of Santa Cruz Island. Prisoners Harbor is what it's called.
Oh, wow.
And so we're telling everybody, we're checking them off. They're going in the water, they're buddying up, doing their thing. And as soon as we dropped anchor, the second on the boat, Kyle was suited up to go diving. He immediately went down the dive chain from the bow and disappeared. So we're getting everybody in the water, and all of a sudden we see this great white shark break the surface with something black and shiny in its mouth and go back down.
Oh, God.
And it's like, oh, crap. So it's like everybody in the water, everybody on the dive step. And we're pulling people by their gear, haul them up on the dive step, trying to get them out of the water. And so we get a head count, and everybody's there. And then the skipper comes out and goes, "Where's Kyle?"
Oh, Lord.
Oh, crap. Well, all of a sudden, we're looking, and you just see, and Kyle kind of looked like Yosemite Sam. So all of a sudden, you just see this arms and legs like a cartoon going across the surface of the water, just going as fast as he can. And we pull him back up on board, and he tells us he went down the anchor chain, was looking for lobster, got to a rock formation, and he said the hair on the back of his neck just stood up.
Oh,
And he dropped down and he looked and he saw this great white just go right over him.
Ooh-wee.
But the great white had spotted a seal. And that's what he got. And it was just like,
Jeez.
oh my God.
Jeez, man. That is crazy. That's kind of like F around and find out.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
that
it.
shark's like, you messing around in my waters over here. Lord. So I'm not doing a culinary word of the day today. I am going to do a quote. Since we're talking about authenticity, I had found a little quote that I really liked. I actually love it. And it's, good food warms the heart and it feeds the soul. Good food doesn't mean fancy food, just as a good friend doesn't mean a fancy friend. And a good life doesn't mean a fancy life. Be authentic like great food.
Oh, that's
like
great.
that.
I like that.
Yeah, I loved it too. I was like, what?
That'd be a good tattoo.
Right?
Yeah.
That actually would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I've been itching to get a tattoo. Oh, we're doing great on time? We good on time? Levi, do you want to say anything? You've been really quiet this episode. You've been over there laughing and giggling at yourself, trying to not make a peep.
What's your favorite food, Levi?
Yeah, what is your favorite food?
I'm from New Mexico, so it's New Mexican style cuisine.
Oh,
And there's an authentic New Mexican restaurant in Tomball
Really?
called Santa Fe Flats, and they
Okay.
make food with like local New Mexican ingredients, and it's really good. And when people call it a Mexican restaurant, but I'm like, it's
not.
a New Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Albuquerque had its own cuisine, different from the northern Mexican states.
Yeah. Well, we came across a place, and funny enough, it's called Chewy's.
Oh, really?
In some little podunk town on 10 West going to California on a road trip. And they did, because it was so close to the border, they did New Mexican food. It's John Madden's favorite place to eat.
Really?
Yeah, because he never traveled by plane. It was either bus or train because he was afraid to fly. And so when he would be coaching and they would drive down 10, they always had to stop at this place and eat. And we went there and ate, or my husband tried to eat.
Was it too hot?
It was too hot for him. And it's like, hey, man, this stuff's good.
Little Arkansas boy couldn't hang.
Yeah. So
Is
he's
your
like,
nose running thinking about it?
yeah. But no, he goes, I'm never eating there again. It's too hot.
Aw.
When I worked at Domino's, I had this guy come in one time. He was talking about he didn't want the pizza too hot. I'm like, bro, it comes fresh out of the oven. What do you mean? He's like, no. I'm talking like spicy hot. this is Domino's Pizza. We don't make spicy hot pizzas. But apparently to him, pepperoni was too spicy.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
How white was he?
Oh, this is like middle of nowhere, East Texas white.
Oh, okay. That explains a
Hey,
lot.
I grew up in East Texas.
So you should know how white it is up there.
Lord. It's where we don't know what passes through certain things. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, Mom. You know I'm a kind of an airhead. I got it from you. I love you. Oh man, funny story. My mother is too. She was a lawyer. She works in a legal field. She's at a big lawyer meeting. I remember her telling me this story. And they're having a few drinks. We went to some steakhouse or something, and she came home telling us the story of what she did. And she was just like, I thought I was being so funny, and I was lighting my lighter, and I was like, look, I'm a pyromaniac. I'm a nymphomaniac. And she, like, all these lawyers and everything are like looking at her like, what are you doing? And she was like, oh. One of the lawyers was like, I think you mean pyromaniac, not nymphomaniac. So, I mean, I get it. I inherited the ditziness, I guess. I love you, Mom.
And on that note, do you have an outro prepared?
A what?
Do you have an outro prepared?
What is an outro?
You know how like there's an my
Oh
God.
my God.
It's the opposite of an intro.
Intro, outro.
Well, my outro was kind of like the
quote?
Yeah, the quote. And, just saying I love you guys very much. And this has been awesome. You're my first interview.
Oh.
And it's great seeing you. I haven't seen you, since way before the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
I went to culinary school in 2015. I think it's even been about a year before that. 2014, I think was the last time I saw you.
I saw you at Crazy Girl, and then I saw you at nowhere. And then I think we ran into each other again at Crazy Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy at Crazy Girl.
Yeah. Gosh, man. I haven't been out in that area or Nowhere Lounge. Shout out to both, though. And Miguel, I hope you're listening. I've asked you to follow our page. Hope you're listening, girl. Anyways, everybody peace out. Keep Chris in your thoughts and prayers. We'll be back later this week. We will go live with this episode next Monday, and we're going to work on getting the last episode that we just recorded a couple days ago out this evening. So be looking out for it. Guys, be out.
We out. Bye.
Later. Peace.